What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and throughout the year I find different handguns, whether they're new, old, discontinued, whatever the case may be. And I make videos called Sleeper of the Year. They're firearms that could potentially be in the running for the best handgun that nobody knows enough about, right? So it could be from a smaller company, it could be from a company that's very popular, but it's just an older handgun with the newer generations, whatever the case may be. And I like to point it out and bring attention to it. And no, it's definitely not this Glock 36 in 45 ACP in front of me. But there are a lot of handguns out there that are sleepers. The problem with the firearm industry and gun tubers is their job is to sell something. That's the point. That's the point of the industry. If you're working for SIG or Glock, their goal is to make money at the end of the day. It's a business, so you can't fault them for it. But a lot of times it's how you go about doing something. And the problem is nowadays these influencers only focus on the newest, greatest, and latest thing. That's why I love my channel. My channel allows us to look back 20, 30 years at handguns. Find stuff on the used rack. Find great deals like this handgun for $225 and bring it to the forefront because that gun could potentially be the best everyday carry handgun for you. For instance, the Glock 26 is what came out in 1994. That is still my favorite handgun. That was like my fourth handgun I ever got. It's my favorite handgun. It's the best shooting, and I like the Gen 3. No optics ready, no rail, no porting, no comps, nothing special about it. It's just an awesome, hardworking, reliable handgun. For my other handguns at the range and stuff like that, sure, I'll have all the bells and whistles. But for my main carry, which I have a couple main carries, the Glock 26 is absolutely awesome. So that's what I like about this channel. You'll rarely see that over there. They're going to show you the brand new releases. That's why you see 30 people drop the same video in the same day. It's the new releases. Now I do that too, right? The Springfield Armory Echelon 4.0 Compact. I got that sent to me. I dropped a video on it, right? But we do everything over here, and that's the difference. And I'm never going to try and sell you something just because it's brand new. Never. I personally think the guns that were made 10, 15, 20 years ago were better quality than what's being produced and released today. And you can see that evidently in all the problems with new releases. Think about the P365, one of the most sold handgun that's concealed carry oriented or in general in the world. And that was one of the most problematic releases of all time, yet it was pushed in your face like crazy. This is the handgun you saw nobody review, and this is the sleeper of the year, the Stoeger STR9 Micro Compact. Now, who is Stoeger? Stoeger is a company that is owned by Beretta. Stoeger is known for their shotguns, but just like Mossberg and other companies, they have branched out. They've started making pistols. Now, they're not all concealed carry oriented, as they have full-size compacts, all sorts of stuff, tactical setups, whatever the case may be. But they also introduced a handgun quicker than Walther, quicker than HK did, quicker than a lot of these companies into the true, quicker than Glock, into the micro compact world. Now, what is a micro compact? A micro compact typically is a stack and a half 9mm handgun. They don't make 40s like this. I wish they made 40s, just make it a little bit thicker, give us 8 or 9 in the same size. That would be awesome. I think we could reemerge 40 and 357 SIG into the civilian market as huge, reliable, great calibers for defending yourself. But we won't see that because 9mm sells to people. The 9mm train has left, and I don't see it ever returning because that thing is taken off and people are eating it up. They're eating up the fact that 40 is irrelevant, 357 SIG doesn't do anything special, when we all know that is bullcrap. But Stoeger, they've come out with some really nice handguns that are affordable. Right now in our country, we're going through a crisis with the fact that incomes stay the same or grow just a little bit, whereas the price of groceries and rent and mortgages and interest rates are growing like crazy. And that's just a fact. For my family, our budget was on average $600 to $800 a month the last couple years. So therefore, what does that mean? Less money for firearms, less money for training, less money for gear. So a big thing nowadays is saving money, and that's what Stoeger has set out to do. I purchased this handgun with my own money, and I'm very impressed by it. It is not winning Sleeper of the Year because it was sent to me. It's winning Sleeper of the Year because this is one of the greatest handguns that nobody knows about. And I've been talking about this for a while. And I did have one hiccup on camera during the 500 round review, me shooting it, and that was a failure to feed. That hiccup ended up coming from the same magazine that gave me a bunch of issues. So I can't lie, I did have problems with this handgun, but they were all magazine related. I've since thrown that magazine out and bought new magazines. I've never had a single problem at all. It comes in the 11 round mags and 13 round mags, but this also takes the full size, the compact, and the tactical mags. So you can get a massive amount of capacity. I believe the tactical is 20 plus rounds that you could get out of this super small micro compact. So that could be a backup mag or home defense, whatever the case may be. There's also some other issues, but not performance, that we're going to talk about. When I got rid of that one bad mag, which it happens, I had a Glock 45 that had a bad mag. I had a Glock 45 that jammed every other round right out of the box with only one specific mag. It happens, right? Whether there's something catching in the mag, the spring has a kink in it, or you know what I mean? Something is wrong with it. That happens. But with the right mags, I've had zero issues, and Stoeger replaced that mag. So good customer service goes a long way. Try getting a mag replaced by SIG. They're going to charge you some money. Anyways, this thing has been actually great, and I paid $350 for it. But what I do recommend is getting the upgraded version, because we will touch on a couple of the problems. But overall, when speaking, this is the sleeper of the year. $350, every feature known on this thing. One, we got 3-dot sights, and they are adjustable in the rear. I reached out to Stoeger to ask why they did this. They had to be adjustable for import reasons. Therefore, the lower base model comes with this. Therefore, when you're shooting, it's never going to sit like this. You have to sit the rear sight, the sight like that. So as long as you do a half moon or a half circle, you're going to be on point and accurate. I was throwing shots at first and didn't realize it because I was lining it up how you typically would. So just, for future reference, if you get the base model, which is absolutely great, shoot like that, right? But really nice sights other than that. And sometimes with other firearms, you have to do the same thing, like the Hellcats and stuff like that, Echelons. Sometimes with that ball in a basket setup, you have to do that. The finish, actually pretty good. I've put this thing through a lot. We're sitting around like 1,700 rounds of full metal jackets and a bunch of boxes of hollow points, and it's held up pretty well. We got a little bit of scratches here and there, not a big deal whatsoever. Still looks pretty good. You just see the fact that the handgun was used. Barrel finish, you can see getting some wear right there. Nothing too crazy, nothing more than your typical handgun while shooting it. Forward serrations, rear serrations look pretty nice and are very effective. Comes with a rail. So there are a few great light options out there if you guys are interested. Typically for a subcompact or a micro compact, I do not run lights on them. That's just me though. Everything functions really well. Mag release is real nice. Everything locks back, goes forward. Just not trying to slam it home, and yeah, functions really well. Really nice mags, stainless steel mags that are relatively affordable and relatively cheap. I think they're like $30 or something like that. So that's always a plus, not having $50, $60 magazines, because once again, it's another barrier to entry. You want 2, 3, 4, 5 mags, and this does come with an 11 rounder and a 13 rounder, so it does come with 2 mags. Then you have a little spot right here, keep your finger off the trigger. I call memory pads, and to fight a little bit of recoil, which is pretty nice. It takes down like a Glock, which a lot of people like because the ease of use and ease of cleaning and stuff like that is, like I said, very easy. Now this is where my favorite features come into play. The recoil. Right here you have a stainless steel guide rod, just like on my subcompact from Stoeger and my compact from Stoeger. I've never had a single issue with these handguns. They just run. I haven't had a problem. Like I said, I haven't shot 5, 10, 20,000 rounds with them yet, like my Glocks and Hellcats. But for the round count, for a budget-oriented handgun, or for how much people actually typically shoot, this is holding up for what, how many rounds they put down range in a year. Very good at recoil control. Definitely less snappier than a Hellcat, less snappy than a P365, for instance. A buddy of ours that does security, he usually carries full sizes. His carry piece is a 48, but he carries large full sizes for security, armed security. He picked this up. He hates micro 9s, hates small pistols. He shot it and immediately wanted to buy the Stoeger. He shot my Hellcats. He shot other small guns. He didn't like them. For some reason, he picked up the Stoeger and he really liked it. And for me, and he has massive hands. He's a big, big guy. He liked this. So I was very interested in why he liked it. And he said, all the other ones fly out of my hands because my hands are so big, I can't get a good grip on them. But this recoil was just a sweet spot for him. So it ran really well and he liked it. A big trigger guard. So if you have bigger fingers or wear gloves, you can still get a finger in that trigger guard. The trigger, probably my favorite part about this handgun. It destroys a Glock trigger while still being safe for everyday carry and being under adrenaline and so on for a defensive situation. First of all, check out that little hook you see. Absolutely love it. Feels great on the finger. Feels natural. You get it in the sweet spot every time. So you got a little bit of take up, wall, crisp, and clean. A little bit of over travel, not a big deal. Most triggers have that are striker fire. Reset, real quick, real short. Like I said, still gonna have some weight to it. So about 5 pounds, 4.5 pounds. Really nice, strong kickback on that reset. And we have a nice defensive trigger here, guys. Really nice defensive trigger. And I think that's a big selling point for this handgun is the trigger compared to like the 6-7 pound Hellcat trigger. The Glocks that could be a little bit mushy. Even on the 43X and 48, they're pretty dang good. This is a nice trigger. I'm liking it. Then the other thing, like I said, for some reason he liked the grip on it. And I can understand why. Check out the texturing. Check out the stippling. You think a company like Glock, a multi-billion-dollar company like Glock, could do something like this. Perfect stippling. You have this micro texturing, which is better than a Hellcat if you've ever held a Hellcat or a Hellcat Pro. Then you have even better stippling up front with these little lines that come through. And then on the rear, you have pyramids, which is pretty popular for a lot of handguns. And overall, it just makes for a really nice ergonomic grip to it. You can shoot this handgun one-handed pretty dang well. But like I said, if you are going to get the Stoeger, get the optics ready version with the tritium sights. Like I said, unless you're shooting like this, you're going to have a couple problems with accuracy. But if you shoot like that, you're going to have no issues whatsoever. And that was because of import. Like I said, though, the tritium sights delete that problem at all. I really like this thing. Like I said, the main reasons is everything I just described to you. How it feels in my hand, how comfortable it is when I'm shooting, and how quick you can be with that trigger. It makes for a very nice, small, defensive pistol, while still being able to maintain capacity and having 13+1 sit down here and larger. So for me, carry, I like the 11-round mag, and I like the 13-round mag. So that's typically what I stick with. But like I said, it's a huge bonus having other Stoegers where you can just use all those mags at the range. So overall, I still think this Stoeger for $350 is by far the sleeper of the year. And I think if Stoeger continues to improve on what they already have, they're going to be a big force to be reckoned with, 100%. Like I said, there's a couple areas they could definitely work on. Like I said, holster compatibility. There's not a lot of holsters out there. They need to get with a couple companies that are good holsters. There's a couple out there that aren't the greatest, but Stoeger should work with a company and say, hey, we'll give you a little, we'll pay you to make a good holster for our firearm. Give us some support. And I think that would go a long ways with your customers, right? Then on top of that, sights. Be able to sell some aftermarket sights for us. We want to be able to throw some other sights in this handgun. We want to be able to customize it a little bit to our liking. But in terms of trigger and the overall handgun that you get for $350, I don't think there's much more of a sleeper out there. Oh yeah, mag release. Look at how they built that mag release. Dang near flush. But then it curves with the trigger guard and sticks out. Therefore, when you're shooting, look at where my fingers sit. It completely avoids it, and it's blocked by this little mound right here. You're not going to, look at my finger can't even get to it, and my thumb can't get to it. All you got to do is turn over, and obviously I'm blocking it with my hand right now, but all you got to do is turn over, and boom, you got it. Boom. Boom. But while shooting, my point is you're not going to hit it. But you turn over, and you are good to go for that mag drop. The Stoeger STR9 Micro Compact for me is the sleeper of 2024, and I look forward to other handguns and what they have to drop going forward. Thanks for watching, guys.